because the SCOTUS was very busy today, okay? The Supreme Court of the United States overturns the eviction ban. Millions of people may soon be without a home. The Supreme Court overrides the housing eviction ban, and the highest court said that the CDC exceeded its authority with the eviction moratorium. The decision puts millions of Americans at risk for homelessness due to job loss and income reduction from the pandemic. The Supreme Court asserts it's Congress's job to authorize a federal eviction moratorium. Let's go to our panel. Kelly, when you hear about what the Supreme Court has just come down with, in essence, kicking out potentially millions of people to the streets, eradicating Biden's sort of protections against evictions, what do you think happens next to those people who are still sort of hanging on by a string in an economy that's still impacted by the pandemic?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Dr. DeWeaver, for having me. My last name is pronounced Bethia, and JD is the law degree title. So I just wanted to be clear about that. It's fine. But to answer your question, how do I feel about it? It is incredibly disheartening and disappointing that it has come to this, right? Frankly, this shouldn't even be a Supreme Court issue because like the Supreme Court said, even though I don't necessarily agree, they wanted Congress to fix this. And the reality is Congress could have fixed it. Their job is to create laws. Their job is to legislate. And for them to produce some type of legislation for the president to sign so it doesn't have to be interpreted by the Supreme Court. And frankly, Congress had enough time on this issue. Congress can speed anything up that they want to. They can slow down anything that they want to. And the fact that they appear to not have housing as a priority in the middle of a pandemic, knowing that this moratorium was in place, is just incredibly disappointing. And granted, the Senate is split 50-50. Congress on the representative side, it's majority Democrat. So in reality, we have the Democrats to blame for this because they have the power in both houses right now if it's used wisely. And it feels like they're lollygagging on the issues that are most immediate and most important to the people in this country. I get that every policy initiative has its own importance and urgency, but I can't think of something more important outside of public health. In fact, housing more or less kind of includes public health. But I can't think of a more immediate than housing. Where are you going to live? And the fact that Congress dropped the ball on this when, frankly, we worked so hard to keep a majority as Democrats, again, it's disappointing.
I hear exactly what you're saying, Kelly. Michael, I'd love to get your perspective on this, particularly given the fact that though the numbers are in the way that Kelly mentioned, and the actual implications of how politics is played, things can be a little bit more complicated than just the numbers, right? I mean, a couple of things have happened. A lot has happened in a short amount of time since the Biden administration has been in office. We just went through with the infrastructure bill. We had all this aid that had to come through in terms of rolling the vaccine out. We have still battles going on with regards to the Justice and Policing Act and the Voting Rights Act, which still have yet to get across the finish line. Not to mention the fact that you have all of these quote unquote moderate Democrats who do not want to play nicely in the sandbox with the other Democrats. Is it really as cut and dry as having a 50-50 Senate plus a vice president to get something like this through?
No, because first of all, let's just back up for a quick minute. Hopefully you can hear me okay, Avis. And you're doing a great job, by the way, Avis, also.
Thank you, dear.
If we step back, it was Representative Maxine Waters who last month, at the last minute, tried to get this bill passed in the House of Representatives for the eviction moratorium, to get it passed through Congress before the House went on summer recess. Now, the Biden administration let Congress know at the last minute that he wasn't going to extend the eviction moratorium, even though previously he said he wasn't going to extend it. But it was they got the message at the last minute. OK, so they couldn't pass it in the House. there were 10 Democrats in the House who weren't going along to pass the eviction moratorium in the House of Representatives. No Republicans were supporting it, by the way. No Republicans were trying to help. In the Senate, for the eviction moratorium to pass the Senate, if I'm correct, you need 60 votes in the Senate. I don't think this qualifies for the budget reconciliation process, where you need 50 votes plus Vice President Kamala Harris. So you need 60 in the Senate, okay? Which means you need 10 Republicans. I don't know 10 Republicans that are going to sign on for this when you didn't have 10 Republicans who signed on for the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan that included $46.5 billion in rental assistance for renters as well as landlords. So I don't know. I don't think there are 10 Republicans in the Senate. So it's complicated, but they should not have waited to the last minute to try to pass this in the House of Representatives. OK, then we see Representative Cori Bush took it upon herself, who has been homeless in the past. She launched this campaign and sat on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You had other Democrats who, Ayanna Pressley, other Democrats. I ain't see any Republicans out there supporting this. OK, so it's complicated, but they should not have waited till the last minute. But at the same time, I don't see any Republicans trying to help. And there's going to be some white Republicans who voted to put Republicans in office who are going to be evicted also. OK, yep. And lastly, it's about 90% of the $46.5 billion has not been used yet either. OK, now the way that it was put into the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, it left it up to the states to come up with how they disseminate it. OK, and it's been a catastrophe there. But it's complicated, but at the same time, they should not have waited till the last minute, because everybody knew when the deadline was. Everybody knew when the eviction moratorium was going to expire.
Absolutely. It's not like this is something that popped up
exactly.
At the last minute.
We all had the same calendar. We all had the same calendar. We all knew when it was going to expire.
Exactly. The problem is we don't all have the same priorities. Wouldn't you agree, Adrian? It seems to me that if there's one thing that is consistent in this country, it is this issue of really providing help to people who are at the most dire circumstances. That always seems to get the short end of the stick in terms of priorities. You know, what can we do now at this point, now that it seems like we're back at square one, to sort of mitigate some of the damage that the Supreme Court decision is going to do?
Yeah, I think that there's a very clear priorities misalignment here between actual proven human need and what elected officials, who are ostensibly there to represent the needs of the people, are actually trying to do and actually doing and showing us with their actions in Washington, D.C. I think that the states who have leadership that understand the direness of this situation, literally 7 million human beings potentially out on the streets, they will step in and institute statewide moratoria on evictions. And that's what's happened here in Illinois. Governor Pritzker has extended that through September. But not every jurisdiction has a governor in place who puts people over profit in a global pandemic, right? So what we're going to see in the South and in states like Texas and Georgia and Mississippi, like, this is going to be bad.
It is. And the problem is that once people get out there and they are in dire circumstances, it's really hard to put that genie back in the bottle, unfortunately.
Back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. Seek.com. We're partnering with them, of course. We appreciate their support right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Check out a couple of their products that you can take advantage of.
And you're watching us on Seek.
What's going on? This Quavo Huncho, but right now you in the Huncho's world. Please let the music play.
enjoy the Seek.com video by using one of their virtual reality headsets, all you do is just pop your phone right here into the VR headset and enjoy the content. You can also take advantage of their 360-degree headphones. These headphones here come in a couple of colors, black and gold, but then also all gold. And so you can check these out. If you want to use our promo code to get a discount, it's RMVIP21, RMVIP21. Then, of course, a portion of the proceeds comes back to Roland Martin Unfiltered, which allows for us to fund the show. And so this is a black-owned company, and we certainly believe in supporting black-owned companies. Barry Spiel is the founder. And so, again, go to Seek.com and use the promo code RMVIP21.